Arouse. Something arouse their interest. It can arouse anger or fear. Music can arouse very powerful emotions.
Pretty. The water of the fjord is pretty cold. The two buildings were pretty close together. You must think. You're pretty clever.
Grand. We arrived at the Grand Canyon from Pittsburgh. There was no grand plan for this. A grand concert was held in the evening. Volume. The volume knob is the leftist. Turn up the volume, please. Turn. Twiddle the little knob to adjust the volume.
Draw. Drew. Drawn. I drew the curtain aside to let her see it. Do you mind if I draw up the blinds?
Coach. Coach travel is back in fashion. A fast and comfortable coach service runs from Tunis bus station. We usually go by coach. Provide. The hens provided us with fresh eggs. I will provide food for the picnic. Can you provide any proof of identity?
Cope with. The police couldn't cope with the civil unrest. They have to cope with a mountain of problems. Condition. Bonhams, 1938. For sale in good condition. The car is in very good condition. The house is in a generally poor condition. Land. Marines landed in Da Nang on 8th March, 1965. It is dangerous to land in this area. The parachutists landed perfectly.
Scope. It let us narrow the scope of our search. The subject lies outside the scope of this book. Pack. My girlfriend wants me to read this pack of books. The next pack can then be started. I bought a pack on my way home. Craft. This craft requires inhuman patience. Sheep shearing is a highly skilled craft. He's a master of the actor's craft.
Worth. Beyond all doubt, Alhambra is worth seeing. Good words are worth much and cost little. Good name is gold worth.
Urban. Urban life is full of contradictions. Most of the population is an urban population. Pond. The pond is for ducks only. There is hope for your pond or lake, though. We were due to meet at the pond at 6. Familiar. The number seems familiar, but I'm not sure. Her face and figure are familiar to millions. Many parts of this story may seem familiar to you.
Tap. She smiled and tapped a tune on the table. Tap with the heel of your shoe on the window and he will let us in.
Column. I'm going to climb that column before it's dark. Now, in its place is one recovered from the wreckage column. Guilt. There was no doubt of his guilt. No, pity and guilt won't help. None of them would admit their guilt. Arm. He had a stronger arm. I had a better technique. The wound left a scar on my arm. One of them had his arm broken. Chamber. Now it hangs on the wall of the chamber. The main chamber must be back there. Need to get everyone into the harvest chamber. Oi, how much do I owe you? You owe me 6 months' rent. You still owe me that first date. Include. The set also includes an ivory syringe. In that deep love include me too. The project should also include pedestrian zones.
Appoint. I have a meeting appointed for this evening. I can't appoint you to be a minister. More specific dates yet to appoint one is not ready.
Celebrate. Independence Day is celebrated on July 4th. Next week I get the car and we'll celebrate. This day is celebrated both at home and at school. Abuse. Please don't abuse me. I'm doing my job. Children suffer from serious threats of abuse. Dig. Dug. Dug. My father and I dug a well of 20 feet in depth. If it were me, I'd dig. Try and dig a little deeper into the shovel story. Behavior. We described the social behavior of baboons. I am far from pleased with your behavior. We all have a reason for our behavior. Cable. The underwater cable connects continents. The length of the power cable cannot be too long. Do not let the cable touch heating objects. Intelligent. His wife is more intelligent than him. He read things well and Maid took an intelligent risk. He was intelligent and skilled at many things. Admit. Sometimes we make mistakes. Let's admit it. The driver didn't admit to any fault. I couldn't even admit it to myself. Cream. I drank coffee with cream for many years. The residents make their own yogurt and cream. A jam and cream donut on the house. Appropriate. The governor appropriated $3 million. I'm not trying to appropriate your culture. There are many who wish to appropriate another's victory. Root. His burrow was under the roots of an old tree. First of all, we have to find the root of evil. Compare. Look at them attentively. Compare them. No other means of transportation can compare. Many people compare the world's best lifters to ours. Human. These were the only humans we met there. She keeps a human skull on her desk. Let's leave room for human intuition and human skills. Slay, slew, slain. St. George came and slew the serpent. The weapon can slay any being within the three worlds. Every man wants to slay a dragon. Persist. This tradition persists in some areas. However, barriers to education persist for migrants. The heat will persist for quite some time. Wide. The widest river in the world is the Amazon River. A wide selection of cocktails is available here as well. Spain has a wide diversity of architectural styles and landscapes. Width. The width is not enough. The bed won't pass. The length and the width should form a perfect square. However, its width varies from 1 kilometer to 5.
Quarter. We left you a quarter of the pizza. Appreciate it. The man lived a quarter century with a donor organ. It can be purchased for $250,000.
Vanish. The cell phone vanished from the nightstand. He can just vanish, and the money goes with him. I mean, my father didn't just vanish. Stir. Stir the butter and sugar into a cream. Knead a little bit of warm water and stir. If you stir the soup too vigorously, it will froth up. Opening. Can you put your hand through the opening? He decided to hole a small opening in the ice. He decided to close up the opening with a wooden board for safety. Library. I found it in the college library. The public library shall in principle be free of charge. For many majors, the library will be the other.
Link. A chain fails at its weakest link. Here's the link if you want to help out. The link has been rather weak this year, too. Expose. She exposed her neck to let me see it was okay. A man should not expose the secrets of his wife. They could also expose other things. Dig up. Where did you dig up such an ugly dress? Let me see what I can dig up. Anyway, that's what I was able to dig up.
Narrate. Grandfather liked to narrate this amazing story. They will narrate stories for kids. I will narrate my trip to the mountains in tomorrow's class.